Have you ever booked an eco-friendly tour just because it had a green leaf logo slapped on the website? Or chosen a hotel because it said sustainable in the name? Yeah, same. But here's the truth. Not everything that calls itself ecotourism actually is. In fact, much of what's marketed as green travel is nothing more than clever branding. So in this video, we're breaking it down. What really makes tourism eco, and what's just marketing fluff? Let's start with a clear definition. Ecotourism isn't just about staying in nature or using reusable water bottles. It's a structured form of responsible travel to natural areas that conserves the environment, respects local cultures, and benefits local communities. That definition comes straight from the International Ecotourism Society. So, real ecotourism is about three key things: environmental conservation, community empowerment, education, and awareness. Each of these pillars works together to create a form of tourism that gives back more than it takes. And sadly, a lot of so-called ecotourism ventures fail to meet even one of these. Let's start with conservation. Real ecotourism activities should actively protect the environment. That means low-impact infrastructure, minimal waste, and a commitment to preserving biodiversity. It's not just about avoiding damage, it's about improving the health of ecosystems. For example, some eco-lodges contribute part of their profits to reforestation or wildlife protection projects. Others might be built entirely off-grid using renewable energy. Ask yourself, does this experience leave the environment better than it found it? If not, it might not be true ecotourism. Second, and this part is huge, ecotourism should directly support local communities. That includes hiring local guides, sourcing food locally, and respecting indigenous land and customs. It's not ecotourism if the community is being pushed out or only getting scraps from tourist dollars. Empowerment means locals are leading the tours, managing the business, and shaping the story being told. When you see native voices centered and heard, you know you're closer to the real deal. And finally, we have education, possibly the most underrated pillar of all. Ecotourism should open your eyes, not just give you pretty views.
At the heart of ecotourism is one thing: learning. Every trip should leave you more informed than when you arrived. That means understanding the ecology of the place you're visiting, the history of the local communities, and the impact of your presence as a traveler. Real ecotours don't just point out animals or landscapes, they provide context. Why is this species endangered? How has climate change affected this ecosystem? What role does this forest play in the lives of indigenous people? When ecotourism is done right, it's not just an adventure, it's a lesson in environmental and cultural interconnectedness. But here's the issue. The word ecotourism has become trendy, and with that trend comes exploitation. This is where greenwashing enters the picture. Greenwashing is when companies or destinations pretend to be eco-friendly to attract conscious consumers, without actually making meaningful environmental or social efforts. You've probably seen it. Eco-lodge built in the middle of a rainforest after clearing part of it. Plastic-free hotels that still run on fossil fuels and exploit local workers. Tour companies that slap sustainable on a product just because it uses recycled paper for brochures. If there's no transparency, no data, no partnerships with conservation groups or local communities, it's probably greenwashing. Now, let's be honest, true ecotourism is hard to implement. It's expensive, it requires collaboration with locals, and it often limits how many tourists can visit, meaning less profit. Some destinations are trying, but still struggling to meet all the principles. Infrastructure in remote regions is often limited. Governments might prioritize mass tourism for quick revenue. Local communities may lack the resources or training to engage meaningfully. Even travelers themselves can be a challenge. We want the Instagram moments, the comforts, the Wi-Fi. But ecotourism often demands we slow down and give those things up. It's a delicate balance between access and preservation. So, what can we do as travelers? First, question everything. Don't accept the eco label at face value. Dig deeper. Ask where your money's going. Ask who owns the tour company. Ask what they're doing for conservation. Second, embrace imperfection. You're not going to save the planet with one trip, but you can reduce harm, support the right people, and leave a place better informed than when you arrived. Finally, travel with intention. Slow down, stay longer, listen more. Ecotourism isn't about checking off bucket list items. It's about connecting with the planet and the people who call it home. So how do you spot real ecotourism in the wild? Here are a few things to look for. Transparent practices. Do they clearly explain how they reduce environmental impact? Whether it's renewable energy, composting toilets, or water recycling, real ecotourism operations will show you, not just tell you. Certifications. Look for verified certifications like Rainforest Alliance, Green Globe, or EarthCheck. These don't guarantee perfection, but they do hold businesses to a higher standard. Community-led initiatives. Ask, who's running the show? If local communities are owners, not just employees, you're much closer to a genuine experience. Limited group sizes. Ecotourism often means small groups to reduce the footprint. If the tour has 40 people with selfie sticks on a motorboat in a coral reef, probably not so eco. Let's look at a few real-world examples that embody the spirit of ecotourism. Costa Rica, one of the global leaders in ecotourism. Many of its lodges are solar-powered, use local materials, and reinvest in forest conservation. In some areas, tourism directly funds the preservation of endangered species, like the resplendent quetzal. Bhutan. This Himalayan country has a unique, high-value, low-impact tourism model. Travelers pay a daily fee that supports education, healthcare, and environmental protection. Mass tourism is avoided altogether. Namibia. Community conservancies give locals legal rights to manage wildlife and benefit from tourism revenue. Visitors can join guided safaris where the focus is on both conservation and cultural exchange. These aren't just trips, they're partnerships between traveler and destination. Now you might be thinking, can one person really make a difference? The answer is absolutely yes, because ecotourism is built on small, meaningful choices. Choosing a locally owned homestay instead of an international hotel chain. Booking with a tour company that publishes its sustainability reports. Saying no to elephant rides, but yes to wildlife sanctuaries that rescue and rehabilitate. Each choice you make shifts the demand, and with enough demand, the industry follows. You don't need to be perfect. But if you're asking the right questions and traveling with purpose, you're already part of the solution. Ecotourism isn't just a niche, it's a movement. A way of saying, I want my adventures to matter. I want to see the world, but not at the world's expense. As global travelers, we have power. Our money, our curiosity, our values, they shape how destinations grow. And that means we have a responsibility to make those decisions count. So the next time you're planning a trip, ask yourself, who am I supporting? What am I protecting? What am I learning? Because ecotourism at its core isn't just about where you go, it's about how you show up. Thanks for watching. Travel wisely.